Hey there, Skeleton Key here. Welcome back to my channel. And yeah, with the superb owl thing that I did last night with reading and I guess productivity sprints, um, I almost forgot that I have a weekly book report that I do. So I'm actually going to try to keep this short. It's been a pretty exhausting day, so yeah, we'll just go through things as quickly as we can. I only have 3 books that I finished in this last week, so that'll be pretty quick. Let's see. Pull that up here. There we go. So yeah, these 3 here. And the first one was The Mimicking of Known Successes by Malka Ann Older. And this is the first in the Massa and Plady series. It's a novella. And I think the second one it's going to be still a novella, but a little bit longer. And hopefully that means there's more world building and stuff actually shown to the reader. I did enjoy this quite a bit. It's Sapphic, Holmes, and Watson on Jupiter. So we've got so Massa is the Holmes character, and she is a detective with the I guess the police. I don't know, the investigative unit on the outpost. It's this colony of humans who have escaped Earth. Earth pretty much died on them. So this is in the, I don't know how distant future, but probably not super distant future. But there is some, so it's very steampunky. So it's, futuristic technology, but still, Older has gone to some links to have sort of a gas lamp fantasy atmosphere with because Jupiter's a gas giant, and so there are all these swirling gases all over the place on the exterior of the colony. And but they've really tried their especially in the academic area where Plady is, because she's a scholar. They're very fond of the 19th century aesthetic. So it's got that aesthetic going there. I actually was a little disappointed in the lack of Holmesian flourishes. I guess I was expecting it to be more than just sort of a gas lamp setting, gas lamp Victorian setting, or at least mimicking that. And yeah, I won't give away what the title means because it's very important to the theme. And as you're reading it, you'll kind of gather what that entails. And there's a mystery. There's a guy has disappeared from this kind of remote train station, and the idea is that, well, he was either pushed or he jumped from this platform and down to the, well, not surface exactly, but down into the pulled into Jupiter. I guess I don't know if they know if there's an actual physical surface. I think they did determine that the core of Jupiter does have a surface, but that's way down there. It's, mostly gas. Uh, but, so this guy's disappeared. And so was he murdered? Did he commit suicide? And so Masa is investigating, and um, she learns that her ex-girlfriend from college is in the same academic area as the guy who disappeared. So she goes and looks her up and asks her, would he have committed suicide? What was his frame of mind like? And all that fun stuff. And it gets way more involved. And actually, there's quite a bit packed into this. Is only how many pages? This is, well, 5 pages on the audiobook. I'm thinking it was like 190 pages, something like that. So it's a pretty short novella, and it was kind of a convoluted story, and so I'm kind of impressed that so much was able to get in there. The ending is kind of weird. I read this for Strange Worlds Book Club, and we talked a lot about the ending and did it make sense, and there was some stuff that didn't really make sense or wasn't really explained to our satisfaction, but I still really enjoyed this, and I plan to read the next book in the series. I think it's coming out this week. I won't get to it this week, but yeah, probably as soon as it shows up in the library system, I'll snag that and read it. But yeah, if you're looking for like a really, a Holmes pastiche with lots of little fun Easter eggs, this is not that, but it's still a really good read. And let's see. So next was The Cat Who Saved Books. And okay, I'm not going to tell you a whole lot about this one. I did, well, I first saw this, the very first time I saw this, it was in a bookstore on a shelf. And I saw the title, I saw the cover. I really like this cover illustration. I haven't looked up who it was, but I've forgotten. But yeah, I think you can just Google it and it'll show you the original drawing and everything. And I was just like, I really want to read that, but I really couldn't justify buying a new book then. And and I didn't even really, I was basically just judging it by title and cover. And that's kind of a good thing, I think, because I did start to read a few reviews, and the ones that didn't like it were disappointed because it wasn't what they expected. So I decided I wasn't going to read the cover blurb. I wasn't going to read any further into reviews. Because I didn't want to expect anything. It's like there's a cat and there are books and the cat saves books. Yeah, I'm good with that. So I just went in, and yeah, so this is by Sasuke Natsukawa and translated by Louise Hill Kawai. And I did listen to the Kevin Shin narration, and I really enjoyed it. I think there are a couple things you should know. It is very Japanese in tone. And it's not so much about saving books as it is exploring the question of what does it mean to love books. And as long as you go into it knowing that, yes, it's going to be a very Japanese story. If you, I don't know, some people were calling it very YA, but I think that's just sort of the Japanese flow of the language and how the translator and the narrator. But I don't know what it is on the page. Maybe just with the translation, the flow of the words comes through. as well. But I really do feel like the translator made a great effort to maintain that Japanese feel to the story rather than, kind of, you know, adjusting it for an American or English speaking audience. And yeah, just go into it knowing that it's going to be sort of a philosophical take on um, on loving books. And yeah, and another thing that made people think it was YA was that there is a prominent character who is a teenager, several prominent characters who are teenagers, but I don't think that's really the point of it. And there is some coming of age stuff there, but it's I think this is suitable for all ages. I mean, maybe like a real little kid wouldn't really get into the philosophical aspect, but they might, I don't know, probably around age 7 or 8, they might enjoy sort of the adventure part of it. But it is highly philosophical. So I think it's one of those things that people of various ages can take from it what they want. And I really don't want to say a whole lot more than that. I've probably said too much as it is. And then Vita Nostra. Yeah, okay, this was a trip. Be interested to know how many of you have read Vita Nostra before. So this is by Marina and Sergei Dyachenko. Translator on this is Julia Maitov-Hersey. And I actually started reading this several years ago for Strange Worlds Book Club. And I didn't get through it in time. I think it had to go back to the library. And, so I knew kind of what it was about. And then I had to put it down. And then I picked it up again for Book Snobs. And now at that time, the library then had gotten the audiobook version. And I listened to that, and I listened to the whole thing, and this is hands down the strangest book I have ever read. And I've read a lot of strange books, but this was really, really strange. And yeah, I think it did come out after Harry Potter, and it does have a little bit of a Harry Potter flow to it as far as how things happen, but it's way more bizarre. Yeah, it's way more, it's darker. It's this is not a kid's book at all. These are college students. And I noticed, yeah, Lev Grossman, it calls it says it has the potential to be a modern classic, quote from him. And yeah, it does remind me a little bit of The Magicians. But it is, yeah, these are older teenagers, and we follow them through, this covers the first 3 years of the this institute. But our main character is just like, and this is Ukrainian. Marina and Sergei Dyachenko are both from Ukraine, and he passed away a few years ago, I believe. But the protagonist and her mother are just hanging out on vacation in Crimea, going to the beach, just having fun. And then this weird guy with sunglasses starts kind of following her around, and Sasha, or Alexandra, and that is, you do have to kind of keep straight people's. They've got their full name, and then they've got their nickname, and so it, some you might take a little bit of time to kind of keep everybody straight. But so Sasha and her mother, um, Sasha's getting followed around this resort town by this creepy guy, and yeah, and things start getting weird, and then they get weirder and weirder and weirder, and finally she ends up going to this weird institute in this very remote little town, and her mother's not happy about it and trying to get her to drop out and go to a regular school, and but we spend the entire book trying to figure out, because she doesn't even know until almost the very end of the book why she's there and what they're learning because it is just so strange. And I do want to read now. When I was reading this for Strange Worlds, the sequel had not come out. There were books 2 and 3 in this Metamorphosis trilogy, but I'm told that those other 2 books are only thematically related to Vita Nostra, and that they don't actually follow Sasha. But I am told that the sequel, which came out pretty recently, at least in translation, I think 2020 maybe, but it actually does follow. It is a direct sequel to Vita Nostra, and so I do want to read that because I've got to find out what happens. Because this institute, it's a 5-year program, and we only got the first 3 years in Vita Nostra. So yeah, we need to know what happens. But if you're looking for something really strange, here it calls it magical realism, and I don't know if I would call it that. I would call it surreal realism. It's because it is very surreal. But yeah, it's everything. Yeah, everything that happened in this, I'm like, oh, okay, well, that's different. It's not like anything else I've ever read, but I highly recommend it. I think it's a trip. It's a trip. All right, so those are the 3 books that I finished this last week. And so now we'll kind of continue on to what I'm reading for all the readathons. Yeah. So the Mardi Gras readathon is coming to an end here shortly. So as in tomorrow. Tomorrow is Mardi Gras. And so I think Kat on her channel is hosting, I think it's on Kat's channel. But anyway, is hosting a discussion of the group read, which is New Orleans Morning, which I have started and I am enjoying. Let's see. There we go. And it's a murder mystery. And so I'm hoping to finish this by tomorrow, and I am fairly certain I will not finish Black Cake in time. Let's see. But I am going to at least get started on Black Cake, even though I won't finish it in time. Yeah, so this, I've had this for a while, the audiobook, and this is nominee for Best Historical Fiction in 2022 and also Best Debut Novel. Let's see, and I got it, but for the Folger Shakespeare Libraries book club, but I didn't have a chance to get to it in time for the book club. So I don't really know anything about it. Just, what it says on the cover blurb. The story of how the inheritance of betrayals, secrets, memories, and even names can shape relationships in history. It's an extraordinary journey through the life of a family changed forever by the choices of its matriarch. And so it's Eleanor Bennett's death leaves behind a puzzling inheritance for her two children, Byron and Benny, a black cake made from a family recipe with a long history and a voice recording. In her message, Eleanor shares a tumultuous story about a headstrong young swimmer who escapes her island home under suspicion of murder. The heartbreaking tale Eleanor unfolds, the secret she still holds back, and the mystery of a long-lost child challenge everything the siblings thought they knew about their lineage and themselves. So, yeah, it sounds really interesting, but that's pretty much all I know about it. But I will get started on that, even if I will not finish it in time for the readathon, the Mardi Gras readathon. City of Light, I have that one on Kindle. Oh. Now let me find. There's way too many things called City of Light. What is the author's name? I don't know. But yeah, I have it on Kindle, and it is a murder mystery, so, and that's for the prompt. Read a book set in France, and then read a book that centers around music. So I've got a couple possibilities, but I won't get them finished. So really, my focus is going to be on New Orleans Morning and City of Light to try to finish those in time for the end of the Mardi Gras readathon. And then we'll be going on to, let's see, what other readathons. Let's see. So there's the Folklore February readathon that is still going on. And so I was reading Lore Olympus Volume 1 for, here, I'll stop sharing this. I was reading Lore Olympus Volume 1 for Strange Worlds, and the general consensus among the people who had actually read it originally on the Webtoons website was that the physical copy is trash. They said the illustrations are too dark and muddy, and they're not nearly as pretty as they are on the website. But I am sunk cost fallacy girl. And so I spent a lot of money on this book because I was like, ooh, I've heard that's pretty and funny, and it's not funny. I don't know where people think it's funny. I don't know where they're getting that. And so I bought this, and it was not cheap. How much is this? Oh, this was only $20. But $20, yeah, that's for paperback. But so I'm gonna read this, and I don't really feel like going to the Webtoons and reading it there. And I'm told the format is all wrong, because the Webtoons format is It's designed to be read on a device like a phone or something, so it kind of scrolls, and so this book format just really doesn't work that well for it. And I'm also told that volume 1 ends. This is about where I am, so I'm only about a quarter of the way in, but I'm gonna finish it for Folklore February from the Magic prompt, and but I'm told that volume 1 ends in a really bad place, and I think last time I read you the content warning, it's like, oh yeah, this has all sorts of toxic relationships, and I'm like, that doesn't sound fun. That doesn't sound fun to me, and it is so far. Yeah, it's like God's behaving badly, but not in any really interesting way, at least not to a middle-aged lady. So, yeah, there's a lot of like dating angst and stuff like that. I'm just like, yeah, I don't care. So, I don't know. I actually think the illustrations in here are kind of pretty, although it is hard to tell people apart. And the only way you're supposed to be able to tell the gods apart is by what color they are, whether they're pink or they're dark blue or they're purple or yeah, so that's just kind of strange. But I do plan to continue on with that. And then let's see. And I already did Mirth last week. So that's Magic. And then I don't think the other two I'm saving for later in the month. So I'll get to those next time. Then there's the Cat Lady Readathon that I've been working on. And so there's this cute little bingo board. And let's see. So all 3 books that I read this last week, The Mimicking of Known Successes counts for 4 or more words in the title. And then Vita Nostra was a translated book. And Cat as a character was the cat who saved books. It could also have been cat on the cover or cat in the title. But I've got a couple others lined up for that. And let's see. Let's kind of take a look here. So there you can see a cat's guide. No. There we go. So a cat's guide to bonding with dragons here. So yeah, I just started that. And it seems kind of cute. I think this might be middle grade. I'm not exactly sure what does this say. Oh yeah, it is middle grade. Yeah, it has a very middle grade feel to it. And there's a cat, and he's been kidnapped by a warlock, and then apparently there will and that he escapes and sees all these dragons flying around, and it's like, I wonder if I go where they are, if I can find better food than trying to chase wolves out in the wild, because that's hard. so so at some point the cat will bond with the dragon, I suppose. But that would count for either cat on the cover or cat in the title. And I have other books as well that will count for these. So, but I've got till the end of February to do the Cat Lady Readathon. And let's see. Some other things. So let's see. So yeah, Mardi Gras Winter's Respite is just a month-long readathon, and I've put information in the description below so that you can check all these things. And then Filmtastic February, I have not started on a book yet for that. So I might end up saving that till the last week of February, because I don't think I'm going to get to it this week because I've got so much going on. So yeah, we'll talk about the other stuff that I am reading for February. And so yeah, hop in the chat and let me know if you have any comments or questions about any of these books that I'm reading or any of the readathons, and or if you have any suggestions for your favorite cat books and things like that. But now we'll go on to other February reading. I think I showed you just briefly there that I have started A Marvelous Light, and that's been actually in several book clubs. That's been a really popular, I think, popular book club pick. I think the first one it was picked for in my circles was the Virtual Steampunk Book Club, Temporal Textual Talks. And I didn't get around to it. I finally I have Spotify, and so I just recently figured out, I get 15 hours of audiobook time a month included, but I didn't realize that it had to be specific books that are included with premium, and that some books you have to pay extra for, even on top of the 15 hours. Like, what? Yeah, I think that model is pretty screwed up. But anyway, I've got 15 hours, so but at least I listened to the free sample, which is the first 5 minutes of the book, and so it sounds interesting, but I don't want to pay extra for it. If I was going to do that, I would just go on, because I think it's probably cheaper to just burn a Libro credit on it. So yeah, not going to do that. I'll just wait for it to become available on Libby. And then I started listening to Tananarivu's The Reformatory, and I think that's for the book troupe. And I started listening to that, and then the Libby ebook became available. So it's like, okay, well, I guess I'll switch to the ebook now. So I'm not sure what I'm gonna use for my 15 hours on Spotify, but let's see, a couple other things that I am reading this week. And I've shown you this before. This is The Woman in the Dunes, by Kobo Abe, and with drawings by Machi Abe. And this is translated from the Japanese by Edale Saunders. And yeah, I don't really know anything about this. This is for Book Snobs next month, but it's got to go back to the library. And I think this is the only copy available, like, in Colorado. So I need to get it back so that somebody else in the book club can check it out. So yeah, I need to get to that this week. And I talked to you a little bit last week about Good Girls Don't Die. I still haven't gone back to that. It's not been a huge priority for me, but I will, finish out that first story, or at least try, and see if it compels me to read further. And then this is for, I wanted to see Literally Dead. This is Out There Screaming, and this is edited by Jordan Peele. This is an anthology of new Black horror, and I did read the introduction, and this sounds like it's going to be great. Anyway, it's basically Jordan Peele asked a bunch of different Black authors to write short stories about their nightmares. Oh boy, this is going to be scary. But I think I loved Get Out. That was an amazing, amazing film. Jordan Peele was robbed at the Oscars. Yeah, and he got best screenplay, or yeah, best screenplay. I've read the screenplay. The screenplay is the most bare bones screenplay I've ever read. There's Yeah, I think he just like wrote down the lines so people would have something to memorize. But yeah, everything else he kept in his head. It was not on the page. So everything that makes that movie so atmospheric, so creepy, yeah, is not on the page. So yeah, I think they gosh, the Oscars. And I was looking at, do I want to read this year's screenplay nominees? I don't know. I've gotten some of them, and I'll probably read some of them. Have I even watched any of them? I don't know. Yeah, I've seen Barbie. I've seen a few of them. So I don't know. But those are my priorities for this week. And yeah, so if you've got yeah, if you want to tell me what you're reading, um it's like, Brian, I'm pretty sure I know what you're reading. um and and also, if you're watching this recorded version later, um yeah, feel free to hop down in the comments and tell me about what you're reading, or if you have any comments about any of the books that I've mentioned here, and we can chat about that. And yeah, I said I was going to try to keep this short. And so I do want to let you know that I'm trying something a little different. I mean, some of you probably know that early on I did a live show with my friend Caitlin, and we had a lot of fun with that. So we found a time that Caitlin can come back and we can like recommend books at each other. And looks like we'll probably have a third friend joining us. So yeah, a bunch of different book recommendations too. And we have we're really good friends and we belong to some of the same book clubs, but we have very differing tastes, but we enjoy finding things that the others like. So I think this will be a lot of fun for everybody. So that will be Sunday at 10 a.m. This next coming Sunday, and if it goes well, then maybe we can make that a regular thing. But anyway, that's all I have for this week. And unless you have any quick comments for me, I will go ahead and sign off, and I will talk at you later.